This is KUTV Primetime News with Irene Mwangi.
Thank you for staying tuned. As we promised, this is the time for our discussion tonight. Today, May 31st, marks the World No Tobacco Day, which has been commemorated since 1987 for the member states of the World Health Organization. And tonight, we're having Mr. Thomas Lindi, who is the National Coordinator of the Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance. Many thanks indeed, Mr. Lindi, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, looking into the World No Tobacco Day that is celebrated today, what has been the significance of this particular day here in the country?
This day is a very important day because on this particular day, we take a stock of our achievement as a government, as civil society organizations, in terms of tobacco control. Basically, the FCTC provides the Empower, which is a package that member countries should be able to monitor what the tobacco industry is doing and also monitor their own efforts in moving towards achievement of a tobacco-free country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, looking into the theme of this particular year is Commit to Quit.
Yeah.
Now, when you look into the environment that we have as a country, the policies that we have as a country, do you think we have the favorable environment to promote cessation of tobacco smoking in the country?
Yeah, I would say the environment is favorable, although we have a lot of interference. Basically, most of it is from the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry tries its best so that it can continue to sell its product to Kenyans. And the other laxity that I will say is, let me say it on the part of enforcement.
Right.
We have very good laws in place, law to protect people from second-hand smoke, law to protect children from access to tobacco products, and law to protect people from being induced through advertisement by the tobacco industry.
Sure.
But the main challenge is that we have had little enforcement of the laws that are existing. Yeah.
So perhaps, Mr. Lindi, what are some of the measures that should be taken looking into the several organizations and even the Ministry of Health? What knots do they need to tie to make sure that we promote cessation of tobacco smoking here in the country?
In terms of cessation, I will say that one of the things that we need to emphasize much, and it's been the clarion call for this year, it's to talk to those who are already using the product.
Okay.
We want to encourage them, to show them, them that want to get out of use of such product. Research shows that 50% of users have tried to smoke, to stop smoking, but they have not been successful.
Yeah.
So those are people who are willing to come out of this habit, but they are not being helped.
Yeah.
So that's why we are saying that there is opportunity for help from government, from civil society. So each and every person that wants to stop the use of tobacco product, we tell you that you can approach the government and there'll be ways that you'll be assisted to stop the use of tobacco products.
All right. Roughly, talking about helping those who want to quit and are willing, but you know, it's really a struggle given that this is a drug. Has there been much awareness of where they can get help to stop the abuse of this particular drug? Because sometimes due to the issues of peer pressure and people who you interact with, it can really be a struggle, and even due to lack of awareness, one cannot be able to find the support. Do you think as the government and even the non-governmental organization as Ketca have been able to create an awareness and create comfort to the tobacco users who want to quit this particular vice?
Yeah, I will say that a lot has been done, and especially this year, NACADA has come in. And NACADA, they have a quit line, helpline, which is 1192. So we have been actually informing people who want to quit. You can call that line, which is a 24-hour toll-free line, and you'll be assisted on how best. These are counselors, professional counselors. We are tired of relying on Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah, sure.
Different people who will tell you, drink this, then you'll stop smoking. No. We want to get professional help to those who want to stop, so that once they get this help, these 50% that have tried to quit, we can salvage them and bring them out of the use of tobacco. You know, tobacco is a gateway drug. Once you start using tobacco or smoking, slowly and gradually you'll find yourself moving towards the hard drug, because you want that kick. You want it to sustain that kick, and you see your nerves and the way your body works, it reaches a level that you want, each and every time you want more and more. So if you get professional assistance, you are able to actually come out of the drug gradually. Yeah, it doesn't work like a miracle, though. There are people who say that they just woke up and decided, I won't smoke it again. But we want people to be given that step-by-step procedural way, so that they don't relapse again to using tobacco and nicotine products. Yeah,
it's some sort of a grace period. They sometimes put it. But now looking into the statistics and into the people who have succumbed due to the use of tobacco, they say it is 8,100 yearly, which is thrice that of COVID-19.
Even more, even more.
Even more. And when you look into COVID-19, it has been an uproar, a pandemic, people raising cries concerning COVID-19, but not much has been said into the use of tobacco, despite it killing thrice the number of COVID-19. Perhaps what has made the world over, not only in Kenya, not take the issue of eradicating tobacco smoking quite seriously?
Okay, I will say that COVID-19 has been given preference because it's a global pandemic. But we'll say that tobacco use has been this is a pandemic that has been coming in gradually,
slowly,
not very fast.
So you can see
you can't see it, you can't easily pinpoint the deaths, but this is something that's happening at the background. So we will try, we are urging the government that despite the fact that you see these numbers, just the way you have mentioned, they are so different. Maybe 9,000, then 3,000. So where should priority be given? We'll say that priority should be given to tobacco control issues, because tobacco is a major risk factor for NCDs. So once you use it, there are more chances that it will lead you to non-communicable diseases and other diseases.
Like heart disease.
So we really need resources on this side, despite the fact that there has been little effort from the government, but we are urging that resources should be channeled towards tobacco control in the country, towards helping those who want to quit, and so on and so forth.
All right. Now, today the Ministry of Health, of course, being the World No Tobacco Day, released a statement of which they said that they'll put more measures in terms of cracking down advertisements that are related to tobacco. But looking into it, years over, has the government been really able to crack down on advertisement, given that the media has expanded to not only mainstream media, but also social media, which means that we need to be more alert? Have they been on the forefront to crack down these advertisements that put out tobacco smoking as a good lifestyle or a bougie lifestyle, as they might perceive it?
Yeah, I will say that a lot has been done. If you compare the Kenya of today and the Kenya of the 1990s, whereby we didn't have any law in place, there was so much advertising everywhere. People could smoke anywhere, you see. So I'll give credit to the government, first of all, for coming up with the tobacco control law, which came into place in 2007. We are way ahead of other countries, which are still struggling. Some of them don't have even any law in place. So apart from that, I'll just say that despite the effort that we have actually put in place, we still have very many gaps. And most of them is, just like I mentioned earlier, enforcement. These laws that we have, we need to enforce them. We need to protect our people, young children, women, those who don't want to be exposed to this product. They should be protected so that it doesn't reach them. In terms of advertising, we have seen a reduction in the way the tobacco industry has been advertising, but they are doing it in plain sight, meaning that this advertising is taking place. You can just buy a newspaper. Then you'll find a whole page being with a very big advertisement, maybe by any of those tobacco companies. Our prices have not changed. What does that mean? A whole page of that. Or they are being awarded for something that even does not exist in this country.
Okay.
Yeah?
It is a sign of advertisement.
That's a form of advertising. And when you go online, we have seen the tobacco industry using some of the very good influencers that we have in our country, who some of them they don't know. They are just, because of COVID situation, people don't have money. Then someone will tell you, maybe you take a picture using maybe Lyft or something like that, or maybe smoking shisha. You know you are an influencer. So whatever you do, it has an influence on maybe young people, a lot of young people, young men and women, because you are a role model to them. They want to see what you do. They also want to do that. You see? So that's a form of advertising. And as a civil society organization, we are calling upon the government. These people who are doing online advertisement, they should actually have, I don't know how they'll do it, but they should have a way of stopping that. Even the sale of tobacco product, it's being done online. So we also call upon the government to crack down on these people who are actually delivering even tobacco products. You see the way they deliver alcohol, blah, blah, blah. They are also doing the same with tobacco products, which is against the law of the country.
Especially at this time of the pandemic, with
imagine.
And social media. But as the Kenya Control Tobacco Alliance, you have been on the forefront calling for the full implementation of the tobacco regulations. Perhaps what are the loopholes that you have witnessed in terms of implementing the tobacco regulations here in the country?
In fact, before we go to that, there was a very huge challenge with the tobacco control regulations. You know, they were developed in 2014 just to strengthen the tobacco control law of 2007. And after that, the tobacco industry went to court. We as Ketca, we were enjoined, and the court process took almost 4 years before finally we won the case. And BAT was defeated in whatever they were arguing. So the tobacco control regulations require tobacco manufacturers, importers, and also those who sell such products to have pictorial health warnings on their cigarette packs. Okay, so as a way of, I don't know, maybe deception, they just put there some very crazy pictures that you can't even comprehend and understand what is this image talking about. So that's an area that we want to be strengthened so that we have clear pictures that can be understood. Each and every person who looks at that picture, they can understand that when I take this product, there is a likelihood that maybe my lungs will be like the lungs in the picture shown here. And even the messaging, we want it to be so clear. Then the other part is the issue of product disclosure. They didn't want to do that. Finally, there was the issue of solatium contribution, which was the major contention of tobacco control companies. They didn't want to give this money to help those people who want to quit. Okay? So we realized that because these regulations came into force, the court case was already decided. These are things that should be complied with. Unfortunately, up to now, we are still struggling with them. It's really a sad situation there. And perhaps there was a report released today by the Ministry of Health, of course, by CS Mutahi Kagwe, a report by the International Tobacco Control that showed that 12% of smokeless tobacco users have reported noting the health warning concerning that particular smokeless tobacco. And the numbers are too small in terms of the percentage. Perhaps what makes these health warnings not be understood by people who are taking smokeless tobacco? Is it that the companies are not being clear on the same? Is it Kenyans being ignorant? Is it the issue of hiding, as you have said, that it is not being clearly shown on what are the effects of this particular drug? What is not being told in this particular use of smokeless tobacco? Smokeless tobacco products come in a number of variety. We have the traditional one, we call it mbake, which does not go through the manufacturing, refining process.
Right.
So people will just do it themselves. Then you see such a product. In fact, where today when we were at Kamkunji, someone actually brought some of it.
Right.
They call it Chavez. Okay, so this is something that's just put in a paper bag. It doesn't have any warning, anything like that. Okay, so it has not been refined and so on and so forth. Others are some of the products that are being brought into the country in a disguise that they are cessation products, specifically nicotine pouches, which the tobacco industry has brought inside the country without following the due process or the regulatory process. So you'll find that all this, there are a myriad of them, smokeless tobacco products, a lot of them, and we feel that it's upon the government to up their game so that whoever imports such products, it's clearly declared that this is a tobacco product, and once it lands in this country, they should have labeled it even before going to the shops. Yeah.
All right. It's really a concern there. A
great concern.
Now, looking into the theme as we conclude, which is calling to quit, the call to quit. Perhaps the World Health Organization has said that we need to put in measures, favorable environment, and for those who want to quit, to be able to come out, not to be ashamed, not to be afraid of what are the repercussions if I quit. Am I going to die due to addict? Perhaps what are some of the campaigns that Ketca is looking into to be able to embrace this particular theme for this particular year? Have you come up with ways in which we can help this particular group, which is especially the youth?
Yeah, I will say that for us to have an effective campaign, and we don't only do this for the World No Tobacco Day. We do it all year round. For us, every day is a World No Tobacco Day.
Yeah.
And one of the things is we must raise awareness so that people, the community, young men and women, once they hit the age of 18, they know what they are doing. They know that when I engage in the use of tobacco product, I'll be an addict, and it will be difficult for me to come out of that. So this is something that should even be in some of our curriculum, so that someone knows, is very well informed. And the other thing is that we also encourage that whatever the government is offering us, like cessation aids, when you go to a level 5 hospital, you can be able to get some form of counseling that will help those who also want to quit. And also we see NACADA has come up very clearly. Those are ways that we are trying as civil society and also as the government to salvage our population from this deadly pandemic that is a slow pandemic.
Yeah, it is a slow pandemic. Of course, now, given that you're the national coordinator for Ketca, which is the Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance, are we seeing a situation whereby as a nation we will be a tobacco-free environment? Is it a foreseeable goal? Is it too much, too high to reach?
I wouldn't say that it's too much. It's achievable. The only thing is that we have so much interference from the tobacco industry. They want to interfere with everything. Each and every way that we want to save our people, they are just looking at the profits. They are just looking at how much they'll be losing if they don't sell to young people. They're just looking how much they'll be losing if there is maybe an end to the sale of nicotine pouches. You see, the argument is on profit. But on our side, I wish the tobacco industry would one day sit down and look at the harm that they are caused. They never care about that because we have lost so many people, losing more than 9,000 people due to just a small product like that. That's a very big shame to the tobacco industry.
It is really a sad situation. And perhaps, given that this time of the pandemic, the government said that tobacco and alcohol is an essential commodity. Do you think the government has given an upper hand to the tobacco industry?
We know that was due to the influence of the tobacco industry. They had an upper hand in that, and finally, we contested that issue. And right now, we are still through the pandemic, but tobacco is not an essential product right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas Lindi. I've seen you have minced your words on that particular issue. But that said, many thanks indeed for giving us a perspective on how tobacco is an epidemic here in the country.
It is an epidemic, indeed.
All right.
Thank you.
That has been Mr. Thomas Lindi, who is the National Coordinator for the Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance, of course giving us a perspective concerning the issue of tobacco smoking and whether the cessation of tobacco can really be achieved here in the country. We are taking a short break, but once we return, we'll be giving you a picture on what is happening beyond our borders. Stay tuned.